Ever walk down that self-help aisle, you know the one, and kind of feel like, is this all just a big old feel-good section in disguise?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the kind of thing that John David Garcia just goes right at in Psychofraud and Ethical Therapy, the book we're doing our deep dive on today.
Oh, it's a fascinating one.
It really makes you rethink, like, everything: therapy, self-improvement, even creativity.
And he just comes right out and says it, no punches pulled.
Yeah.
This book was published back in '74, and Garcia goes after huge names, whole schools of thought in psychotherapy.
He really doesn't hold back, does he? Like, he takes on Freudianism, mysticism,
Mhm.
even says there are these, like, disturbing links between what some therapists are doing and ancient rituals, wild stuff.
Mhm.
But he's not just, like, tearing things down, right? He also puts forward his own system, ethical therapy.
Right, exactly. And he starts the book with this almost unbelievable story about a psychiatrist who actually hires a hitman to kill his wife.
Whoa.
And then uses that to talk about the crazy high suicide rates in like the psychiatric community back then. It's kind of dark when you think about it, the people who are supposed to be helping us heal.
Yeah, that's pretty dark, but I mean, it definitely grabs your attention. And he uses that story to jump into this much bigger conversation about psychotherapy, its history, whether it actually works, if it makes people's lives better.
Exactly. And that's where psychofraud comes in.
Yeah.
Like, he's not saying all therapy is bad, but he really questions if the popular approaches back then led to, real change.
So not just feeling better for a bit because of a placebo effect, but actual lasting improvement. How does he define that, though? Like, what's a measurable improvement to Garcia?
Okay, so for him, it's about this thing he calls our moral sense, which is all about understanding and living by, like, objective truth. Imagine a scientist testing a theory, right? They get data, they refine their ideas based on the evidence.
Right.
That's the kind of approach Garcia wants to see in therapy, but also just in life, like really searching for truth.
So this moral sense, this, like, focus on truth,
Yeah.
how's that actually work in ethical therapy? Is it like, I don't know, a bunch of rules, thou shalt this, thou shalt not that?
It's really different from how we usually think about morality, actually.
Mhm.
Ethical therapy for Garcia isn't about following some set of rules or trying to be this, like, perfect good person. It's way more about always looking for truth, even if it makes you question everything, your beliefs, your values, even who you think you are.
Whoa, that's intense. So, like, someone who's totally dedicated to their art, even if they're, I don't know, always broke, struggling, for Garcia, are they on the right path just because they're after some kind of truth?
That's such a good example because what matters to Garcia is the reason behind it. Like, is the artist making stuff because they're really trying to figure something out, to show something real about themselves or the world? Or is it all about fame or attention or something from outside?
So you could be this super successful therapist making tons of money, but if you're not pushing yourself and the people you're working with towards, like, real truth, then you're actually doing psychofraud.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then on the other hand, you could have what looks like a really normal life, but if you're doing things because you're really trying to find truth, then you're living ethical therapy, even if nobody would know it.
It's funny, right? Because today we think of self-help, and it's all mindfulness, positive thinking. But this is almost like the opposite. Garcia's not about feeling good. He's about facing hard truths, even if it hurts.
It's definitely not like the easy way out. But this is where that moral person idea comes in.
Yeah.
He talks about Socrates, Galileo, people who went against what everyone believed, even got in trouble for it. And Garcia says those people, yeah, they had a rough time, but they were really fulfilled because they were in line with truth.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But those are some pretty heavy examples. How are we, just regular people, supposed to live up to that? It's getting kind of intimidating, to be honest. I bet some folks listening are thinking, hold on, what about love, compassion, all the good stuff? It can't just be about cold, hard truth all the time, right?
Yeah, that's the thing I kept coming back to too. But Garcia actually has an answer, and it might be the most challenging idea in the whole book.
All right, hit me with it.
He says even love, especially romantic love,
Mm.
can actually be psychofraud.
Whoa, okay.
Think about it. How many times do we stay in relationships that aren't really working, all in the name of love? Or we don't have those tough conversations with people we care about because we're scared of the truth.
Yeah, that's real. A lot of people can relate to that, I'm sure.
It's tough to hear, for sure. But Garcia's not saying don't love. He's saying that real ethical love, it has to start with truth. It means always pushing yourself and your partner to grow, to face those hard realities. Never stop trying to understand each other better.
So it's not about getting rid of love or compassion or anything. It's more like making sure those feelings aren't an excuse to avoid the truth, to just stay stuck.
Exactly. And it all comes back to that core idea, right?
Mhm.
Garcia wants us to take this really honest, truth-seeking approach to our whole lives, our work, our relationships, what we believe in, even how we think about creativity.
And speaking of creativity, he's got some pretty interesting things to say about that. He links it right back to searching for truth. Says a lot of the greatest artists, inventors, they weren't just talented, they were driven by this need to uncover something real about the world, almost obsessed with it.
Yeah. And this is what I think is so cool. Garcia says that creative drive, it's not just some gift you're born with. It's something we can all get better at by really going after that objective truth. He even talks about ways to train your mind to be more creative, to see things in a new way, to always question what you think you know, and be open to new information.
So even if you don't agree with everything Garcia says, even if you think some of it's a little out there, this book, Psychofraud and Ethical Therapy, it makes you really think about the big stuff. What am I really working towards? Am I brave enough to face hard truths about myself, about the world? Am I really growing or just tricking myself into thinking I am? It's a tough read, no question. But it might just change how you see what it means to live a really good life.
It's a deep dive for sure,
Yeah.
one that could spark some pretty interesting conversations.
And we love a good conversation. So let us know, what did you think? What really resonated with you? Head over to our website, share your thoughts. We love hearing from you. And until next time, keep on diving deep into those big questions.